So Scoop, what did you get?
Yeah, what'd you do?
Hey, Scoop.
Man, so I was building a house, and I ran out of lumber, so I started taking pickaxe to a guy's house to get more lumber.
What happened to all the wood from the deck?
You apparently have never played Minecraft.
What's true?
Oh.
Moreland, I'm surprised to see you
I
here.
know. I'm surprised you're here, Moreland.
So I decided I was going to go into this guy's house. It was a pottery barn. And I just started smashing all the pots for the rupees.
Well, yeah.
I didn't get any.
You realize that rupees are like foreign money, and this is not.
Isn't that Legend of Zelda?
What did you do to get in here, Becky?
Listen, okay.
Yeah, you're a lawyer. How the fuck did you fall this far
I didn't
from grace?
realize I would get in trouble for planting tomatoes on somebody else's land. I just thought that watching Stardew Valley, I'd make a lot of money.
So that means you need to catch up on the law.
Right?
What are you doing in here, Angie?
I'm a little embarrassed. Well,
She's
you know,
embarrassed is good.
we had that new toy, and I went around and tried to joust with people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Genital jousting
so
is not a real thing.
So you know that's definitely the felony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scoob, you wanna joust?
No, but I remember Saints Row 4. Let's get a bat and strap that bitch to it, and let's do some shit.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Free Rotation Podcast. I am your host for this part of the rotation in which we talk about copycat attacks and murders, and yeah, this is gonna be a real fun episode.
Every time you say copycat, boo hits me. Let's keep the cat to a minimum.
Copy feline. Oh my god, she did it.
She's smart. She's smart.
It's apparently copy. Or just anybody.
Oh no, she meowed and bit me.
Yeah. Well, I'm here with the people who would probably sit in a jail cell with me. I'm here with Scoop. Hi, Scoop.
Hello.
Moreland's on my left.
Am I? Am I really?
To the left. To the
I would
left.
also like to point out
All
that
your bags are packed to the left.
Oh.
I would like
All your evidence is
Are
in
y'all
the
getting rid
box
of me?
at the left.
Are y'all getting rid of me now? Is
No.
that what this is? It's
No, we can't get rid of
No,
you.
Lord.
Is it because I was late?
Dude.
Just
No.
look at the flowers.
That's next episode.
That's true.
Moreland, to be fair, without you keystring the equipment, we could have not gotten into this jail cell.
Oh,
Okay.
and I'm also here with our awesome producer, Angie, who's writing some notes.
Hello.
So,
And is also part orc. Like,
apparently so. That was last episode. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
next
Chirp,
episode,
chirp.
last episode. So today we are continuing.
Justin.
We need more gold.
Sorry, you're good.
We're continuing our look at things that were impactful in geek culture in the geek world by looking at what I call the copycats. So what I did was I wanted to do an episode regarding a couple of topics that have basically been influenced by gaming or pop culture in general. So we're looking at the Slenderman stabbings that occurred in 2014, the Matrix defense, which I didn't even know was a thing until I started researching this, and then wanted to cap it off because I'm pretty sure we're all going to be depressed by the end of some of this, looking at the stupid crimes people have committed in the name of Grand Theft Auto.
I have a question.
What?
Is the Matrix defense where Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves come to be character witnesses for you?
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Right?
But is it, though?
No.
Then I don't care anymore.
All right. So
I still care.
we're looking at the Slenderman stabbings to start with, and I'm pretty sure everybody at this table and probably everybody who's listening to us knows what Slenderman or who Slenderman is.
I don't.
Do you-
Explain to me.
Angie, you want to explain Slenderman? Carried
He's
character.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Most people think that he was created as an internet thing, but they got the idea because Slenderman has existed back as long as the written word as a tall, slender being with tentacles coming out of the back that hunts children. And if an adult sees him, they won't really remember him. It causes amnesia and also causes like a sickness.
Right. The iteration of Slenderman, though, that has been famed at this point in pop culture is the one. Angie's right. There has been ideas that there has been this existence of this long, slender figure with this tentacles coming to hunt children. But what had happened is in 2009, there was a Photoshop contest on something awful. And this guy had taken pictures of children and had basically photoshopped Slender Man into the back of these pictures. So you could probably find these pictures online if you just Google it. It's not anything different.
But if you Google Slender Man, we make wherever you end up, we're sorry.
Well, it kind of blew up from that.
Well, yeah, because I didn't expect Slenderman to actually be scary. And then I watched the Marble Hornet series on YouTube. It scared me.
Yeah.
I called Becky. I was like, I'm scared as shit.
And it was like, that whole thing perpetuated this whole thing with Slender Man. We ended up having Slender Man video games that came out, the 8 pages, Slender Man 2. There was a couple of different games. And then there's been a couple of Slender Man movies that ended up coming out based on the whole Slender Man phenomena. And
now he's actually...
And Slender's coming out here soon.
Yeah, there's another one coming out.
And he's actually an Easter egg in a couple games you wouldn't expect him in.
Right.
That's true, yeah.
Like Doritos Crash Course.
And
It's like Trials, but for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he in Red Dead Redemption?
No, that was Bigfoot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption was.
Isn't the Enderman from my?
Yeah.
It's based on the Slenderman. Yes.
Endermen are based on the whole Slenderman mythos. But basically, at some point, I don't know. It's kind of sad to hear this, but at some point, Slenderman.
There's an Easter egg in Fortnite.
Is that really? Are you going to play Fortnite with me now?
No.
Okay, never mind. So basically what happens is...
You mean Little Kid PUBG?
Yeah. We're going to play... You need to play Realm Royale with us. That
you mean
shit's
D&D
hilarious.
PUBG?
That's even better.
D&D Fortnite?
Yeah. Angie played it with me, and that didn't go so well.
Why did it not go so well?
But you enjoyed becoming a chicken.
Okay, the first
You
time
wait, whoa.
Wait,
You enjoyed
is it-
becoming a chicken.
Wait, let's discuss this after the game.
Yeah.
After this episode, okay?
Was it like playing Tristana?
Yes. Worse.
Okay.
Okay.
So, at some point, I don't know exactly what happened, but Slender Man actually became an advocate or like the icon for kids that were bullied. Like, he became a sympathetic...
Because you, in theory, take all the bad kids away and take them away from the situation where they're
I
getting
don't
bullied.
think that was the situation. I think it was because he would take children and he was sympathetic to them. Like, he felt that he was like the advocate for making sure that they were protected and safe. There was like Slender Man fan fiction. Awful.
It's a very creepy, like, Pied Piper.
Yeah, it was weird. So then this kind of perpetuated what ended up happening in 2014, which in Wisconsin, there were 12-year-olds Anissa Wire and Morgan Geyser. They had actually lured their friend Peyton into the woods and stabbed her 19 times in an attempt to impress the fictional character. She ended up surviving. She ended up crawling to a road where she was found, and she recovered after 6 days in the hospital. And both of the girls were actually found not guilty by the fact that they were declared insane, effectively. So what had happened is that they were all Wire and Geyser believed that they were proxies of Slender Man, that by sacrificing one of their friends to Slender Man, they would be able to find the location in the woods where Slender Man existed, and that they could go there and become part of his minion domain. Like, he was hiding in the middle of the woods, hanging out there waiting to take these kids and become their leader or something to that effect.
That's just stupid.
Right. They're basically like this is an interesting topic because there's a documentary on Netflix and it's called Beware the Slender Man. And it goes through everything that propounds onto Slender Man and how Slender Man became such a big thing. And then it kind of explains how they probably got to this point. Like, there was a lot of instances that it turned out that one of the girls had multiple personality disorder or it's dissociative identity disorder, and that she was bipolar. So she believed she was actually hearing the voices of Slender Man. The other girl who actually perpetuated the crime, she also ended up declaring that she was mentally incompetent, but there was a lot of talk that she didn't have the same symptoms as the other girl that she kind of influenced into getting involved in stabbing this poor girl.
Well, I've noticed that when you have crimes like this, especially with younger children, you have the child who is the brains of the outfit, the one who's actually very disturbed, and the other one who's a little dimmer and a little more easy to convince.
Right.
Manipulate.
Yeah.
Is the word you're looking for.
Well, even to the effect when they finally found the girls, because the girls were leaving where they lived to go to these woods to find Slender Man, and it was like a 19-mile trek on foot. They had the knife when they left the scene of the crime. And when they were picked up by the police, they said they felt guilty for stabbing their friend, but they felt it was a necessity because they were trying to appease Slender Man. So I guess my point in like looking at this is the fact that how pervasive pop culture and these icons of either evil or geekdom or anything like that, how people can take it way farther than necessary, especially if there's an issue of mental illness that I think at least one of the girls, because her father did come on to Beware the Slenderman and state that, she did have bipolar disorder. I have bipolar disorder. We were hearing voices. All of this was happening. But it's just crazy to think that this was an instance in where these girls legitimately believed this creature existed and that the only way to appease him was to stab their friend.
And I would also like to point out there's no guarantee that he doesn't exist.
I mean, I understand that, but
I just want to disclaim
there's no contextual evidence to say that what they did was exactly what he would have wanted.
No. I'm not saying
because Slenderman has never really encouraged murder. He's just stolen children. Like, they're just nowhere to be found.
Right.
So even as far back as, the 16 and 1700s, they're writing about children who've gone missing from the Slenderman when they're home alone with one parent, and the one parent has absolutely no memory of the time frame in which the kid disappeared. They just are super sick afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's creepypasta. There's creepypastas written about, based off these stories, these old, stories. Even this ancient Sumerians wrote about Slenderman, and they even called him Slenderman. So it's interesting.
It is, but I think what's freaky is the fact that we're in this instance, we have an icon that I wouldn't want to say like of geekdom, but it's an internet icon that most people would assume that isn't real, especially because it has been super fictionalized. It's like there's an iteration of Captain America that started out and that has expanded ever since he was created, kind of like Slenderman, I guess. And you hear about it in other stories, but particularly this one was so disturbing, is the fact that they truly believed that this creature existed and that everything they had seen on the internet, all these stories, all of this stuff, that he was coming to harm their families and that he was the only way to appease them was to murder their friend. Which, how do you even get to that point? How do you even think that that's where you're at?
Well, if they watch the Marble Hornet series, that is what happens. Mm-hmm. So he can't remember anything. His girlfriend's disappeared, and as he's tracing his tracks, he realizes that he's hurt people. He may have even killed her. And Slenderman keeps getting closer and closer and closer. Then he comes across a good friend of his that's also missing, and the friend tries to kill him, and he's like, I have to do it. Slenderman told me to. So it sounds a lot like the Marble Hornet series on YouTube.
I don't know. And I think this also goes back to like Five Nights at Freddy's too. When you think about all of the stuff that has been put out for kids, like Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a horror game.
It was not put out for kids, but it's become
like, a kid thing.
At work we have I have the action figures. We have a plush like blankets with a golden Freddy like pillow attached to the blanket, and it's like, that's fucking creepy, dude.
And I think that goes back to the fact that parents don't know what their kids are playing or watching.
Exactly.
This isn't a video game or any other thing problem. It's a parenting problem. Mm-hmm. You should know what your kids are doing.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just think I know mental illness is the big issue here with these girls, and their trial actually happened last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and they ended up both having pled. They did not have a trial, and they weren't convicted because of the insanity plea, but they were placed in a mental facility for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm. One had 3 life sentences in the mental institution. One had 40 years.
Yeah,
I mean that's it.
It was because initially what had happened is I want to say it was Morgan was the one who was actually supposed to do the stabbing, and then Anissa, I'm hoping I'm getting this right, just because I'm going off of what I remember from Beware the Slenderman. She basically said, I don't want to hurt her, I don't want to do it, and Anissa pushed her off and started stabbing her. So it was all perpetuated by one child who was influencing another child, but at the same time, this other kid had a lot of mental health issues that weren't being addressed. And I'm not a big forefront of medicating kids and stuff like that, but bipolar disorder and dissociative personality disorder, those are really dangerous disorders people have that have caused stuff like this to happen before. And I think it might have been schizophrenia.
Yeah, it was schizophrenia. And
she was just hearing the voices of Slenderman. Like, I don't know. I think it goes back to, I think you're right. I think it goes back to a parenting issue, but I think the fact that her father had it too, and they knew that there was a chance she would have it, there was a lot of things that had to have happened to get to this point, like letting them do the Slender Man stuff, letting her not be treated for her mental illness. I don't know. This is one of the most unsettling cases I have ever heard of. Just the fact that these girls, to this day, believe Slender Man was coming after them and that they had to do this.
Little speechless.
Well, when the
Over
cyclist
most of
found there was a cyclist or runner, somebody found the little girl who had been stabbed, and he calls 911. You can listen to the 911 call on YouTube, and you can hear her in the background, and she's just so baffled. She had absolutely no idea her friends were going to turn on her.
Because initially, they were going to plan to stab her during a sleepover.
But she wasn't a very popular girl.
Mm-mm.
These were her only friends. So, I mean, she was going to jump at the chance to play with them.
Yeah,
and they wanted to play hide and seek in these woods. And, you know, she didn't question it because she had friends.
Right. Because it's the kid no one will miss.
Because honestly, Moreland, if he was like, hey, let's go up to Atlanta, maybe hit Battle and Brew and stuff, I'd be like, sure. And then if you take me somewhere and kill me.
And then I take her to the dark alley.
And stab her 19 times. All for Slender Man.
And, and like I said,
I would totally understand because he could be real.
I
would be crying the entire time. I'm sorry, Angie. I'm so sorry.
You missed the artery. Go deeper.
I don't know. I get that there's that legend of what was considered Slender Man, but I don't. Even the people who created it, even the creepypasta websites were like, this is not what this was created for. Like, my urban legend was not meant to do this. Like, they had like disclaimers throughout their creepypastas after this happened that this is not real. And if you have mental illness and believe this is real, you need to seek help.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You can say, well, you're mentally ill, you need to seek help. But you also have to believe you're mentally ill. And apparently these girls did not believe they were mentally ill. That's what it sounds like to me.
Being 12 years old, that doesn't fall on them. That falls on their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it just, being 12, you don't have the mental capability to process this, especially with a mental disorder.
I would like to segue real quick. It's like a side topic. Have you ever seen Freddy Krueger, The New Nightmare?
Yeah.
It's the final installment.
Yeah.
And remember how he got brought back as a real person? Because people believed in him. He came off the pages. And then they stopped watching his movies, but the belief was still there.
Yeah, that's also how they did it in Freddy vs. Jason.
And also
because the beliefs were so maybe.
Well, that's how he did it.
It makes you wonder, this creepypasta that was written, and all these people reading it and believing in it and thinking it, did we think it into existence?
That's
it real now?
That's one of the theories of Slender Man, is like somebody started this, and then did we perpetuate all of this just because of stories that have been gone throughout the internet?
Is it something that, is it something that's so deeply ingrained in our DNA and our genetic code to be afraid of this thing?
Well, you can make
because he is the original Elder Cthulhu monster.
Well, you could also think about it like that people believed that for a long time that the giant squid was a myth and that we didn't believe it was a thing, but people kept saying, no, this thing does exist,
because it's been written about all through the things that turn into ships.
One of them grabbed a sub and stared it right in the camera, and they're like, well.
Yeah, well, one washed on the shore, and lo and behold, there was a giant squid.
And he's like, 12 meters long. It's like, holy shit, he's like 3 miles long.
Also with the story of Moby Dick, that was thought to be a true story because of who wrote Moby Dick? Do you remember?
I will in a minute.
Yeah.
Dumas.
And it wasn't Carol. What?
Wasn't it the historical significance of that book that he had heard a story about this great white whale and that they were seeking it for all of this time, but nobody ever actually saw it. So, but then it turns out they actually exist, these huge whales.
Yeah.
Herman Melville.
Herman Melville, okay.
Yeah, well, the ones you never, because like that's the only thing I think he's ever written I've heard of.
Yeah, Moby Dick, yeah. So.
Spoiler, also, Moby Dick is also the base plot for everything for the Hulk.
Really?
Yeah. General Ross is Captain Ahab.
Oh, that makes sense.
And Moby Dick is the Hulk. Because all Hulk wants to do is just be left alone.
Right.
I mean, of course.
But people keep poking him.
Yeah,
like, here, let's keep doing that. Yeah. So, I don't really want to stay on this topic very long. I think this is one of the more depressing topics. But if you want to know more about what happened, Beware the Slender Man, it was simultaneously one of the most informative documentaries I've ever heard, and it gives you a good insight into mental health illness, but it also really It also really puts into perspective, like, what these girls were thinking. And it also gives you a perspective of thinking, like, hey, the culture or what we ingest mentally regarding what we take in, like what our favorite things are, what our fandoms are. We have to be careful because I think you see crazy people come out who are so inept into it, indoctrinated, and they believe that this actually exists. It's kind of scary. Mm-hmm. So, any final thoughts on that, guys?
If your kid has a mental health issue and you've had a mental health issue and it is passable onto your kids, that's the main thing.
I wouldn't even say really get them help. I would say be very aware of what they are ingesting as far as
that too.
Yeah.
And as a parent, know who your kid's hanging out with.
Right.
Like, I get that you're happy she had a friend, but my mother was deaf. I couldn't spend the night unless she knew the parents, knew the kid.
Yep.
Like, I talked to the teachers and understood what the kid was like.
Yep.
And I was such a mama's child, though. The one time I spent the night away, I called home. You come get me.
I was the same way. I hated I liked spending the night with my friends, and you always think that it's going to be so much fun. Like, when you're little, you're like, oh, we're going to do this. But then you get back, and you're like, they don't make my peanut butter sandwich like the way I like it.
I still do it at 33. When we go to Dragon Con and shit, I'm like...
Oh, no, I'm so happy to be out of my house.
Well, I'm stuck in a hotel room with my friends, and...
You just need your dad to cut off the crust of your peanut butter sandwich.
No, instead of with me, it's like...
No, he needs him to cut off the power.
Like, I would tell you guys, I'm like, look, I don't sleep. Like, I think the first year we were at the cabin, I stayed up playing GameCube all night. And I'm like, well...
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, you slept in the hotel room.
Yeah, you did.
Nobody else did, but you slept.
Moreland slept.
I slept too.
Moreland slept too.
I slept good after we got there.
Jake buried his head under a pillow and
Once
a bed.
we got those earplugs...
Oh, man, I slept
great.
good. And then the Marshall house also had earplugs. I was like, this is perfect. This place new. For the ghosts, most likely.
I'm still sorry. I am. I'm so
it's
sorry.
Okay. We'll just
you were warned ahead of time, and I believe Becky's
I didn't believe it.
Becky's
like,
words
we had
were
no basis for how bad that could be.
Like
Becky's words were, Angie snores, I can get through it. Okay, bitch.
Like mine.
Way to call me out, Scoob.
Mine was bearable.
No, Becky said that.
It would have been fine if it wasn't for Scoob. Like if it was one or the other.
I would like to point out how many times you
fine.
get to say that in your lifetime. It would be fine if Scoob didn't happen. D&D, this.
D&D, sleep.
Talking about
Getting
you not
kicked out of a
existing
buffet.
in real life.
Oh, shit.
The Matrix defense. That's actually the perfect segue.
It's a pretty good segue.
Okay, listen. I didn't even know this existed. And it was funny because I called Angie and I was like...
It exists, but I didn't think it was actually a criminal defense.
Here's the freaking funny part. I called Angie and I'm like, yeah, I'm researching the topic. I want to talk about Slenderman and Grand Theft Auto and the Matrix defense. And she's like, oh, you mean the one where they, like, believe that we live in a simulation right now? And I'm like, how did you fucking know that? Like, I've never heard of it.
Angie has called herself a conspiracy theorist connoisseur. How the fuck?
And there is a legitimate conspiracy theory that... I mean, mathematically, it's 100% definitive that we live in a computer simulation. So just think about that this really is a computer simulation. There was also a Black Mirror about this exact thing in an episode.
Can this computer simulation make my back stop hurting?
Give us a little bit more money. Better looking. I would like to lose some weight.
Right.
I like how you went with the EA loot box attempt. Like, it was fine.
All right. So for those of you that don't know what this is.
Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne show up as character
You wish
witnesses.
that's what it was. It's not that. The Matrix defense is the term applied to several legal cases of a defense based on the Matrix films, which is why Scoop keeps talking about Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne.
If you don't know who the fuck, you don't know what the fuck
I've
the
only
Matrix
seen the
is.
first one.
That's all you need.
No, they're all good.
Well, I mean, they're all good, but that's all you need for the point of reference.
They're all okay.
No, the first one was really good. The second and third one I heard were not that good.
The first one's good. The second one's okay. The third one, the ending's just like, what?
Oh, you risked your life.
All right. So basically the idea is that because of the Matrix film, the people believe that reality is a computer-generated simulism and that the real world is quite different from what reality is perceived to be. In using this defense, the defendant claims that they committed a crime because they believe they were in the Matrix and not in the real world. This is a version of the insanity defense and considered a descendant of the taxi driver defense of John Hinckley, who's one of the first defenses based on blurring reality with film. So if you don't know what the taxi driver defense, Angie, do you remember exactly what that was?
It's where he looks in the mirror and he sees himself as a different person.
Yeah, you're talking to me.
Yeah, it's different.
The whole bit where he's going, you talking to me, talking to me. That's...
Talking to me, punk. Talking to me.
Oh, is that from Taxi Driver?
That's
Yeah.
Taxi Driver.
I
It's
didn't
De
know
Niro.
that.
He kind of has a break with where he He's Taxi Driver, but he's also this other person he's created in this fictional world. And
Kinda
he
like,
doesn't know which one is real.
Kind of like Fight Club. You know how Fight
Yeah.
Club plays out? It's the
Yeah.
it's a similar concept.
Mm-hmm.
That's
like
so
the original
crazy.
Fight Club.
And the guy did the same thing. Was he trying to kill? Was it the one who was trying to kill Jodie Foster?
No, he was trying to kill Reagan to impress Jodie Foster, like Travis Bickle did in Taxi Driver.
That's right. So that
Because
was
in
what
Taxi
it was.
Driver, she's an underage prostitute.
That. Okay. I
The
did not
80s were
realize
weird,
that.
man.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that.
80s, right?
But
yeah,
here's
80s.
Taxi Driver is one of the first movies where they think they actually had actual sex.
Really?
Because there's some movies where the actors really do sex.
Wasn't that with the movie
They has the
with
sex.
the post girl? Her name starts with a B. Postpartum depression. And she was in that movie where they're on the beach.
There's one where it's Chloe Sevigny actually blows the director in the movie.
And he put
Oh.
himself in the movie just for
Just
that.
so he could
'cause
get a
was
BJ
obsessed
from
with
her.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going back to this because that's not. I don't know. I rather talk about people killing other people than
I
talk
would like
about
to
people
point
getting
out-
blown.
You're talking about Brooke Shields and Blue
Brooke
Lagoon?
Shields.
and
Yes,
Blue Lagoon?
yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
Yeah. You know what? And if you think about reality as a computer simulation, the Mandela effect makes so much sense.
It does.
They've done updates, virus checks.
I want to talk about that in
We're
a
living
second.
in
Okay,
so we're living in reboot.
I want to
Yeah.
talk about that because I still really believe that stupid movie Kazam exists. I don't give a shit what anybody says. That movie exists
It
somewhere.
doesn't, and if it does, it's a cheap ripoff of Shazam, which is a cheap ripoff of everything.
Well, here's the crazy part about the Matrix defense.
That
Is
it looks like it's worked 4 times.
it has worked. It's successful. It put users inside a mental care facility instead of prisons. So
Yeah, because if you can't disprove the defense,
I mean,
Then
I
it
get it, but
stands.
a lot of times I feel like people would just make stuff up so they don't have to go to jail. Like, legit for Slenderman
Well, what
stabbings,
is
I
it?
believe those girls were...
It's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
I
That's a
know.
reasonable doubt.
I would also like to point out, like, you can tell that people believe this shit wholeheartedly. Because you see a lot of YouTube channels like the blue pill agenda, the red pill
Yeah.
agenda. Like, we get it, red pill, blue pill, da-da-da-da. We understand.
So, okay, of the 4 crimes, by the way, 2 of them were committed against a landlady. Tonda Lynn Hansley of Hamilton, Ohio, was found not guilty by reason of insanity for using this defense after shooting her landlady in the head in July 2002. When did the movie come out? 1999, 2000?
It was in the 90s.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know.
Very, very late, though.
Yeah, like 99, maybe 2000.
So this was
I
like right...
I might be 98.
I think it might be 98, 99, because I think the newer ones came out like right around the time Lord of the Rings came
No,
out.
yeah.
So it was like 2001. So then Vadim Massaji, I don't care how to pronounce her name, dude, and I'm not going to worry about
1999.
1999. Okay.
Vadim Massages.
Hey, whatever.
That
Of San
person.
Francisco, offered the Matrix explanation to police after chopping up his landlady.
Now let me stop you right there. Someone hand me the soapbox. Let me stop you
Have
right
your
there.
soapbox. Go crazy.
I could get shooting the landlady in the head because it's a lot of gun fu in that fucking movie.
Chopping her up.
Man, no, I don't remember.
Like, yeah, like where
I don't
the
remember
chopping
the
up come
melee
from?
Well,
scene.
his defense is that he didn't believe it was real, so somewhere she's still alive. He didn't kill the real her.
No, I get how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see why he would try to pull that one. Like, if he shot her a billion times, okay, she didn't die.
But
I get that.
no, it's not the how you kill. It's the fact that this is a computer simulation. It doesn't matter.
No, yeah.
So live your basis self.
Isn't there a scene in the movie where they turn into like pixelated characters or whatever? Am I thinking
No,
of something
it's-
else?
it's
like
like-
Mr.
No, you'd see code on a line.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can see them in code. That's why Neo is able to be Neo, because he sees in code.
I gotcha.
He sees the code and he can.
After he realized he's a human Duracell.
Yeah,
and
he can
anticipate
readjust.
the code, and
Yeah, he can readjust the code to his
he
will,
can
pretty
manipulate
much.
it. He's basically a computer virus
But that's why he can fly. That's why he can pretty much stop time. Fly
because
at
he's a
super
virus
speed.
in the code. He slipped through the firewall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotcha.
Well, he's the one anomaly that can't be shut down.
Well, here's my question then. Okay, we're about to get into the Matrix. I mean, I get the red pill, blue pill thing, but if you're in a simulated code to begin with, how did they get the pill in the first place? That you know,
It's not. It's basically so that the people who wake up and acknowledge that they're in a simulation. It's not so much the fact that there was an actual red and blue pill. It's, did you want the knowledge? Did you want to recognize the knowledge?
Do you want this to be real, or do you want to go back to sleep?
Because it's all about
it's
the
giving them a
power of
choice.
your mind. So if you want to go back to sleep, they take the code from you. You won't ever know. If you choose
Okay.
to wake up, you do wake up in the real world, and it's awful.
Dang. Okay.
Which future's worse, Terminator or Matrix?
I think Matrix was.
Matrix, I think, is worse because at least with Terminator, there's not this
you can
idea.
fight back. There's
You're not like it. You exist as you are. You don't exist in a simulation of yourself where you possibly are just a hive mind somewhere.
You're not even a hive mind. You are literally a living battery to power something.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't wake up.
I can kind of see why.
So when he wakes up, he's just this white, like hairless.
Like
baby.
It looked like he was in a fetus in a womb.
Yeah.
No, that's what they are. It's
And it was just big battery cylinders.
Yeah, it's a giant nutrient sac, like a womb.
And it read him as dead, so it flushed him out. And
Holy shit.
Well,
I forgot.
It read him as, basically dead because he unhooked himself.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, this is dead battery.
The fact that there's a port directly to your fucking brainstem. Let's also get into that.
He didn't unhook himself. The robot unhooked him, but it read him as pretty much read him as he woke up, and he had basically read unusual brain activity. More activity coming through it, so the robot came, unhooked him, and flushed him.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they figured it out.
Apparently, a lot of people believe that they are in the Matrix, and I think I've heard a lot of people make the joke too. I make the joke all the time that we're living a simulation because there are things that you kind of see where people are like you kind of glitch a little bit. It's like, how did that happen? I want to chalk it up to like a mental misfiring in your brain.
When I was the first time I smoked pot. Yes, I'm gonna because.
I mean, who cares?
You admitted it.
It's
already.
our podcast, whatever.
Yeah,
our podcast.
I mean, I don't do it.
No, that's a different one.
I don't do it anymore. But the first time I smoked pot, I went to work the next day, and
you didn't do it in Georgia because it's illegal.
This is sure.
You were in California.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Or Colorado.
Sure.
I went somewhere. I went to work. I went to work the next day, and I was pushing buggies, and I walked to get a buggy that's on the sidewalk. And I felt like I walked to it 6 times, and I hadn't even walked to it once.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird,
right?
You were buffering.
No, that I was lagging. Like
your dial-up internet wasn't working well, and you had run into the corner of the wall a couple of times, and you were about to be shot in PUBG.
Right, I was Call of Duty in it, just flopping around everywhere. Like, how the hell is he doing that?
That reminds me of that Vine that I like. The guy
good story.
No, he's lagging in real life. It's just he's in socks and he's like in the kitchen, like, I'm gonna make a sandwich. And he's just walking against the counter for a good 3 seconds.
That's always awful. And then, so I have 2 more, and then I want to talk about the Mandela effect because you truly believe that this is linked to the whole computer simulated. We live in this weird generated thing. Whatever.
I would also like to discuss after that the movies we wish we were living in that we're not.
True. I mean, that's a good point. Okay, Issa, I need you to get off my notes, please. Joshua Cook's lawyers were going to attempt the defense for his trial for the murder of his adoptive parents, which I think this was actually a pretty big deal in 2003 when this happened. If I'm not mistaken, he had actually went in and shot both of them and came out and said, I live in a computer-generated thing. They're still alive somewhere. I just didn't want to live in this generation anymore. If I'm not mistaken, I could be thinking of somebody else.
Wait till they figure out the fucking multiverse. Then that shit kicks off.
Right.
So then,
separate timelines. So
then this other guy, it was the case of Lee Malvo, also included references to the Matrix mentioned in the writings taken from his jail cell. He reportedly shouted, "Free yourself from the Matrix," from his cell after his arrest, and he told FBI agents to watch the film if they wanted to understand him.
Wasn't that one of the DC snipers or one of the? Because there was the DC snipers, and I think this guy. I knew that name looked familiar.
Yeah. So, but Angie, go ahead. You want to talk about the Mandela effect? The Mandela effect.
Well, there's 2 theories about the Mandela effect. Either there are time travelers, or we live in a simulation, or you can put the 2 together and say there's people who actually have woken up. That's why you have people with the superpowers.
Like Matt Hardy. Because he's woke. I thought I would make a joke. I'm sorry, guys.
You know what? That joke was delightful.
Excellent.
You can't cut
please
that.
Stop corn dogging.
No, that's the bit. You can't cut that.
I'm not cutting it, but please stop corn dogging. That was terrifying.
But then there are people who have figured out a way to go between codes and they can go back in time because they know how to read the lines. But the Mandela effect is someone's gone back and changed a piece of code. Changed something that influenced. So they go back and they don't really do anything, but maybe they reset it wrong. So when they reboot the program, or the Mandela effect is also an update in the simulation or a virus patch, and they patch it wrong. So it doesn't come in like it should. Okay, calm down. I'm getting excited.
Her nipples are fucking so hard you can make juice. I wanted to bring it up
because this is something she has talked about before, and it did relate back to the Mandela effect.
Well, there's 2 main things. One is a line in the Bible. And so many people know their Bibles by heart. Even if they can't read, it's been said so much they know the Bible. So when you talk about when Jesus comes back, it says he'll make the lamb lay with the lion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Bible now reads the lamb will lay with the tiger. Everybody knows it said the lamb lays with the lion. But if you check your Bible, it says the lamb will lay with the tiger. Yeah, that's weird.
But based on when it was written, it would have to be lion, because tigers aren't really a thing.
But now
they were a thing, but they weren't.
They weren't.
They weren't as
They didn't. I don't remember them feeding Christians to tigers.
Yep. And also, like, tigers weren't even in the area. They would have had to travel
That's
to see a tiger.
what I was thinking, is that tigers aren't, they're not creatures that you would find in the region in which the Bible was written to begin with.
But a lion is.
That's the thing.
So,
yeah.
And then the other one, that's two major things.
Kazam.
No, that's not the major thing.
That is a major thing for me, because I'm still messed up by that.
Well, so here's the other one, and this one has gone full circle. So, you know the line in Star Wars, Luke, I am your father. And then people are like, that's not the actual words. It actually says this. Well, no. Now when you listen to it, it does say, Luke, I am your father. So it fixed, broke, fixed.
Could that have possibly... Okay, I'm playing devil's advocate. Could that have possibly been because George Lucas has redone the movie so many times, and that he could have just changed it?
No, it's the same. It is
the
same.
Like when they re-released it.
Yeah.
When they re-released it in the tavern scene in the original, when it originally came out.
You mean the cantina?
Shut up.
Someone will bitch. I got you guys.
Yeah.
Han shoots at the guy first.
Mm-hmm.
Han shot first. That's the running thing.
In the newer updated versions of it, he gets shot at first and then shoots back. Because it makes him look more like a hero.
Yeah.
Well, that's just
like
editing.
he's defending himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was my point. Was it possibly
an edit? No, this is the exact same recording. You can't even find the videos anymore of where he says the other thing about being the father.
I am your father.
Yeah. But he says, Luke, I am your father. And now it's like, no, I am your father.
Yeah.
And now it's back to Luke, I am your father.
See, yeah, because I remember thinking, I had heard the Luke, I am your father, and then when you actually watched Star Wars, probably around the time Phantom Menace came out, you would hear, no, I am your father. Mm-hmm. And then we just watched a scene in your room.
I said, Luke.
That says, Luke, I am your father.
Mm-hmm. When you think about Kit Kat, I remember the hyphen between Kit Kat. Apparently, there's no hyphen in Kit Kat.
Now it's just all one word.
It's just Kit Kat.
Yeah.
And then Looney Tunes, the way Looney Tunes is spelled, was it Toons? Because I very specifically remember the OO because Daffy Duck would pop up on it.
It was LOOTOO.
Yeah, but now it's TU. It's actually Tunes.
Which is funny because I remember the TUNES.
I remember that too.
Yeah, but I remember the TOO very clearly because Daffy Duck popped up on them.
So that's one of those things where people believe that
Bugs was on the Looney OOs and Daffy's on the Tunes OO.
Because Daffy needed second billing no matter what he does.
Poor thing.
Well, that's one of the theories of the Mandela effect is we're all experiencing a simulation that is different for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what it is?
And honestly, sometimes when I think about this, I think about a lot of this at night, of course, scaring the shit out of myself. And I start to wonder what really matters. It doesn't really matter what we do because we're set code. Our life is going to end exactly as it's simulated to end. And, like, if I had any sort of mental illness, who knows what I would take that and run with.
Right.
Like, if I were bipolar or schizophrenic or any of these other illnesses these people had, I would probably snap and just be like, it doesn't matter what I do.
Someone who has mental illness, tag me in. So...
Being a chubby little princess does not make you have mental illness.
No, but I actually
Scoop had issues as a kid.
I mean, he did. I'm talking about
now. I like
now.
how Becky just shit on me and she's like, wait a minute.
I'm talking about now, Scoob, but you don't have mental illness.
They don't go away, so yes?
I'm just saying, I think being a chubby little princess, that's different.
Here's an example.
As Becky bullies him.
Yeah.
And triggers his mental illness.
Exactly.
Hey, have you heard of Slenderman?
Depression is still an illness.
Steve? Yeah, Steve's great.
I mean, depression. Okay, I got what you're saying. I'm making a joke.
Like, here's an example, and we can cut this if you want, because it's probably going to make everyone quiet for a minute. So when Kayla first left, my first thought was, okay, so I believe in the multiverse. So that means if I can find a way through the multiverse, I could find a multiverse where Kayla didn't leave, murder the me in that universe, and take over.
That's what Fringe was basically about for a while there.
And that really was. His son died, so he went and stole his son from another multiverse.
And
That's the episode of Rick and Morty.
Love number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Potion number 9. They go through the.
Which I am inclined to believe that the multiverse does exist.
Well, they do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people don't believe in
because
it.
they're stupid.
Well, quantum physics has proven that realities are layered. Time exists all at once. There is no past, present, future. There just is.
I really hope the FBI doesn't come get us as we're recording this
they
tomorrow.
probably
And then,
They're going to just chalk it up to say that they believe in aliens and that they probably are just one of those, like, occult / sci-fi podcasts, whatever.
They'll tell us this was all swamp gas. And
I mean, yeah. Oh, you had carbon monoxide in your house the entire time. That's what
It was
happened.
HAARP. It was HAARP.
I do have an upset stomach, so it is possible.
I've got.
Man,
That's
I've had
where
the
swamp gas
shits all
comes
day
from,
today.
too.
Can I go to one of the multiverses where my back doesn't hurt, please?
But just
Please?
think, can you imagine, like, there's one decision you made in your life, and now you're like Bill Gates.
Right.
Isn't that crazy to think that
Well, we
they're...
got a chance to invest in the cloud.
If me and Angie had picked up the fucking phone, hold on, my anger's
Yeah.
coming out.
No, yeah.
Why?
He
Of all
actually
the
stood
the
in
one
the card
time we
shop
don't
and
listen to that
said, I
motherfucker.
created this thing. It's going to be huge. I have investors. You can get in for $15 right now.
If I'd have just handed him a fucking 20.
But we didn't believe him because he was
Because it's him.
Yeah, it was him.
And now he has billions of dollars and is living somewhere.
I slammed my dick in a car door.
But you know what? Knowing him, there's no guarantee that he would
Oh,
have
you know he
actually-
strangled a hooker. He had to have, right? Like,
Yeah. Or he would have been like, yeah, I got money from them. He probably been like, I don't know those people. Never
Well,
saw
I'm
them a
gonna-
day in my
too.
life.
Well, he'd done it before.
That's true. Well, going back to the whole Matrix...
I'm sorry.
like,
I'm just a little triggered. Give me a minute.
That's fine, but I was going to say, like, going back to the whole Slender Man and the Matrix thing, and you made a good point, like, what if these people... What?
I thought of the joke real quick. Does that mean that whole bit, and given the situation now, that whole thing's come full circle?
Oh my God.
Oh, shut
That's
up.
good.
Oh,
That's
shut
good,
up.
All right, guys. I'm going home.
Good episode, guys.
I'm
That's it.
sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
I was
It's
going
Tammy.
to
Go ahead.
say,
I
I mean, it
apologize.
brings up a good point because a lot of people do believe that we are living in a computer simulation. So what if they really figured out they were living in a computer simulation?
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody be like, if you've seen the Truman Show, that's kind of how this
But the
happened.
thing is, like, I don't think I would go and kill somebody.
No, I wouldn't. I would just figure out how to break it and have superpowers and
No,
Yeah, that's
how
what
am I
I'm
going to
saying.
get thin and rich?
no. Look,
I want to own an island.
this
Which is possible. Somebody did do that.
Just
here's
give yourself the ability to shapeshift.
Yeah, maybe that's how we got Trump.
here's the whole
Lizard folk.
I
Here we
actually
go.
yesterday, and you guys are gonna hate me for saying this,
No,
and I
probably
honestly can't remember what I was thinking about, but I was thinking about something Trump did, and I thought, is he actually just really brilliant? Does he know something that we don't know? Because he, like the Space Force, does he know?
I think he knows about the aliens. I think he, as president, they get those documents.
They
I
get-
think
right.
that's why.
They go to Area 51. There's a dossier.
But there was something, and honestly, this is why I sometimes think things are simulation, because it seems like just when I've had an epiphany and figured something out,
You forget it.
I forget it or have a stroke. I can't remember anything for a week. And I remember I figured some shit out. I remember specifically.
And someone changed your 1 to a 0 and fucked you up.
Yeah. And I'm like doing this now, like, but I figured out. I had
now. You've always
an
been doing that.
epiphany, and I was like, oh my God, Trump is actually just a freaking genius. We're probably gonna later years be like, he was a folk hero. We just had no idea.
I really hope we don't get to that point.
But it was just
man.
something that.
So their whole plot for this is we're living in a computer simulation.
Right.
They're living in a movie.
Yeah.
Just for entertainment purpose and to cheer this fucking show the fuck up
Before
for
we
a minute.
get to the stupid shit, yeah, let's go.
Name a movie, non-pornographic,
Damn.
Damn it.
of the...
Okay, first off, would you actually want to live in a porno? They're pretty bad if you think about
No,
it.
some of
Depends on the
them aren't.
porno.
Depends on the porno.
Oh, I have a
Okay,
list.
fine. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that my limited knowledge of porn does not go to your eclectic and exquisite taste of porn. My bad.
I'm a porn connoisseur.
I was about to say, you're a pornosaur?
Yes.
He's a sexual sommelier.
He's actually
You're
the
a
most
pornosaur,
interesting. He's
so
actually
you're
the
a-
most interesting man alive when it comes to Pornhub.
Exactly.
He's the
Like,
most-
yep,
he's
yep,
the most-
seen that.
He's got the most interesting stroke in the world. Name a movie. Outside. Got her, bro.
Got it.
That image is so scary. I don't want to think about it.
Stay jizzy, my friends.
Ew, God. Oh, no.
I love that she has such a vivid imagination. I'm picturing
The
it.
worst part is she knows, like, I have that imagination where I've written 7 layers of a thesis
You just have
in my
Moreland
story.
wait. You have Moreland sweaty.
Can you
and
please
naked
stop
and-
talking?
No.
Can you please stop talking?
And veiny.
Can you please stop
He's
talking?
just thumping it. Don't. Because I don't know how Moreland beats off.
And
So I
he's
assume
like,
he just
boink,
thumped it.
boink.
Why would I thump it? That just ow.
Because
Listen.
I like how I leaned over to you to whisper to you and I have a microphone. Because I'm fucking with Becky. Let me do this.
Bonk,
Anyways,
bonk.
movies that we would want to be in. If you don't stop that, I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna see if Moreland will send you a picture of his dick.
He will. Or the spit in his fucking head. But let's.
Becky's leaving, guys.
I hope you all think about your parents having sex.
I've heard him. It's fine.
I have too, so.
Congratulations, Becky.
You twitched a little bit. Your eye went like,
Becky.
It's normal.
I've heard a lot of people having
You can't
sex.
gross out the 3 of us, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, movies.
I got 3 videos on my phone to watch.
I don't want to
Thank
know.
you.
Movies we want to.
You would want to live in
Well,
that
you
are
know, I don't want-
non-pornographic.
I don't
Maybe
think
more now.
Okay.
I don't think I would want. Okay, I wouldn't
Is
want
that
to.
why you keep checking your phone? For just...
I know, but I'm saying like I wouldn't want to live in like Spirited Away because it's spirits. Like I don't want to live there. I don't want to like. I was thinking like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but then I would probably be the pleb with no powers.
Yeah, no, that'd be me.
That'd be you. No,
I'd-
that'd
I'd-
absolutely
I'd
be Becky.
I'd be Como, the guy, or the guy that he's like, would you like a Dr. Pepper? And he just knocks it out of his hand.
Or the vegan guy who like explodes if you eat anything that's meat, and like that's your like superpower, but it
Oh, yeah,
sucks.
he's like a Super Saiyan, but he has like a piece of beef broth and...
Yeah. He drank milk, and it's like
That's what it is, because it
non-
comes from an animal.
Yeah.
Todd.
Oh, Todd.
Todd.
Yeah, fucking Todd.
With his fucking super frosted
God damn it,
dip and-
Todd.
He had chicken parmesan. Chicken isn't vegan.
Bang.
He had gelato, which is milk and eggs, and then he had half and half.
Yeah, and his coffee. Yeah,
I've seen that movie one too many
I
times.
have too.
I own it, and I've seen it too many times. Angie, what movie would you...
I don't know. I had to keep thinking.
I'm thinking.
Okay, like ones you don't want to live in. Like I don't want to live in Insidious. I don't want to live
I
in
don't
shit like
wanna
that.
live
I
in-
mean, I think
yeah,
you take
no
the horror
movie.
movies out altogether.
I would want to live.
Not a superhero movie either, because
No,
our
no.
town would get destroyed like 8,000 times.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah,
Like if I could be like one of the guys on the rebuilding crew, sure, why not?
you make good money.
What is
Exactly.
that? Okay, there's a movie where these random kids get superpowers and they have a. It's Super 8. I need
They
to see
get
that movie.
superpower, Super 8.
It's good.
I need to
It's
see that,
really
but no,
good.
I think I would want to live in. Ooh, that's a tough
I'd want to
one.
be in Jumper, but want to have the powers. Have you seen Jumper?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that the one
the
with-
one with Hayden Christensen.
where he can literally bounce around
Yeah.
wherever he wants. But he's so lazy he literally does his jump ability just to get the remote.
Yes.
Oh, I'm thinking Looper, the one where he sends him back in time
No.
to his younger
Yeah,
self
that's
to
Bruce
get shot
Willis.
with Bruce Willis and Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph.
I was gonna say I wouldn't want to live in any sort of Pokemon world because that feels like just PETA problems right there.
Right?
So when we live in this world, would we be part of the like main storyline?
No,
Or
you're
just like a
no,
NPC.
you whatever is in the world. You like Angie said or Becky said, superhero movie. You would have powers, whatever. Or do you mean like you're integral to the plot?
Well, just with the main characters.
I mean,
Ba- would you-
if
Because
there
I'm
came
picking Bound, if that's the case.
fair,
Okay.
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Gina Gershon and
Oh, I know what you're
Jennifer
talking
Tilly.
about.
yeah, Jennifer Tilly.
Jesus fucking Christ. That's the sound of
Okay.
Angie knocking her hands together in the sense of a lesbian
No,
thing.
that's the sound of power scissoring, is what that is.
That's what I was saying.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
Moreland.
that's scissoring
Bound.
so hard they're fucking pruning shears.
Jesus.
I'm still thinking about movies.
Scoob broke himself.
Yeah, he did.
He broke himself.
Scoob's gonna be out for a while. Hold on, guys.
I would want to live. Oh God, I would want to live.
I would want to be in. Okay, this would be
Willy
one.
Wonka, the first one with Gene Wilder.
No way, Jose. I would say.
The Grinch is So Christmas.
Ooh,
No
that's a
way,
good-
Jose.
Could you
I
live
was
in
gonna
Whoville?
I was gonna say either I would want to be a half or an orc, but like in Bright, how it's like modern day D&D. That would be kind of cool.
Ooh.
That would be fun.
Is
And
that the, so that counts?
that's one with Will Smith. And I really think that would be a lot of
Just
fun.
because Will Smith, I don't want to be involved.
I mean, you're gonna live
That
in a
goes
world
back
where
to
Will
D-
Smith exists anyways.
I already do.
That's what I'm saying. You already
What?
do, so it doesn't matter.
Fair. No, you know what?
But in this one, he's
Or-
a cop
Yeah.
with a bad attitude.
Or I would want to live in the world of Kiki's Delivery Service, where a witch at their age
Oh,
13.
I didn't think about anime.
Yeah, I want to be like I want to be a little 13-year-old witch and have to go explore and learn to be a witch. That would
I
be so much
want
fun.
to live.
And it's adorably cute.
I want to live in the world of the Flintstones.
without like actual plumbing.
They had plumbing.
I'll poop in a pelican.
Yeah.
Keep that. That's what they did.
They did.
Their toilet was a pelican.
You know what? I was thinking I couldn't remember the name of it, but the one with the cats.
Oh, The Cat Returns. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Cat Returns is the Hayao Miyazaki movie.
You get to go to a cat world.
Look at her face. She's high right now.
Are you a human or
so
do you?
Much Benadryl?
Do you become a cat? Well, no. Do you become a cat?
In the cat world, you become a kitty.
So it's like Link when he goes to the dark world, he becomes a bunny.
First off, let's remember that the cat world is ruled by like tyrants because they're cats.
Well, they're cats, yeah. But the cats don't know they're tyrants, and everybody likes him.
Wait, so in theory, if you take
he's just a vicious kitty.
But if you take a cat to the cat world, do they become a human?
No, they just become a bigger cat.
Who can talk.
Mm-hmm. And you could be in our world, and the kitties are still super smart.
And you would take Bawoo and just start having every conversation.
Bawoo is like Fu Manchu there.
Boo Manchu?
Bawoo Manchu.
Get out of my head, Becky.
Look at her. She knows. She's like, oh my god, they're on to me.
I just
Why are they
thought.
talking about me?
Yeah.
Jesus.
What about you, Moreland? Have you thought of one?
Said Jumper.
Oh, Jumper, yeah.
Because I just want the power. Mm-hmm. Because I can just be like, and I'm at work.
That's true. Okay.
I would never.
That's literally the only reason. There's nothing.
I mean, to be fair, that's a great reason.
Also, I could be, and I'm home.
To be fair, you could
think about the mileage you save on your car, the gas money.
I don't need a car.
You don't need insurance.
I don't need
We're
a car.
Adulting why these movies.
Isn't there a playoff? Isn't there like a downside to jumping? Like it shortens your lifespan or something?
No, you're hunted by people that don't think that you should have this
in existence.
Yeah, and your ass is going to use it to go to the house and work.
Yeah, but if that's all he's doing, that's not too bad.
That's like Goku using instant transmit. Well, he does do it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
All right. Well, fair enough.
Exactly.
That's like burning Misty Step to go to the other side of the room.
I mean, Moreland would.
Done.
I'd poof just to get.
You know what? Just thinking about it.
I'd poof just to get behind you to go to the bathroom.
You know what? I think I'd pick Jumper too. Now that I've discussed it with myself.
You're welcome.
We've come to a decision.
I still think Bright would be better, but
I
whatever.
Mean,
I haven't seen Bright. And I've only seen parts of Jumper, so I can't.
The only caveat is you had to have been there or seen the play. At least seen the place.
So it's a fast travel system.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm in.
Kinda. Like I could pop to the other side of the room. I could pop out to my car. I've seen it, but I couldn't pop over to Kathmandu because I've never seen Kathmandu.
Does that mean you could commit so much crime that way?
I mean, that's what he does in the movie.
That's the premise of the movie.
I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
So.
In the movie, he figures out he has these powers, and one of the.
Can you jump with people?
Yes, depending on who you are, you can jump with other things. Like one of them jumps. He's driving a car, and he's jumping the car as he's driving.
Okay, here's my question.
One of them.
Just because I'm an asshole and I think it's funny.
At one point, he jumps like half a building.
Could I jump, grab somebody's clothes, jump, and they be naked? Can I do that?
I don't think so.
No, you probably take them with you.
Yeah, you probably
just
would.
Okay, then I don't. Then I'll waste the Missy Step.
Well, okay.
But you could literally jump somebody up 1,000 feet in the air, drop them, and then jump back down to safety, and just watch them fall.
We're moving on.
Kind of like Nightcrawler.
Okay, so you just bamf.
Yeah.
I wanted to end this episode because with at least something that I find stupid to begin with, because I feel like the other topics are kind of dark. And this stuff was kind of hilarious.
I would like to point out how Becky's interpretation of dark is literally Grand Theft fucking Auto.
Because who the fuck actually thinks
Which there was a Slenderman Easter egg in Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I mean, who the crap thinks, you know what's a good idea? Clearly Grand Theft Auto is a real life depiction of exactly what would happen if I decided to go on a crime spree, which is not exactly what would happen if you went on a crime spree. So here are some crimes that happened because of Grand Theft Auto. In 2008, 16 spent a day in court after their all-night crime spree, which lasted into the early morning hours of the day. The 6 perpetrators are said to have committed muggings, armed robberies, vandalism, and assault. Each one was equipped with a weapon of their choosing, a baseball bat or a crowbar. According to the detective, a Nassau police spokesman, the teens all but admitted to recreating Grand Theft Auto. The police treated the crime as a recreation of the video game.
Violent video game.
Well, I want to talk about that at the end, too, about this stuff of violence in video games and whatever. In 2014, police were called to detain 2 individuals who witnessed brandishing a firearm in the streets of Pennsylvania. A nearby witness, terrified of a neighbor, called for emergency services shortly after seeing the 2 men. The firearm, which turned out to be a replica handgun, was used to create a particular scene from Grand Theft Auto. The 2 were apparently in love with the latest release and wanted a bit more entertainment for their new game. When they responded to the call to speak with the witnesses only a few moments later, the 2 perpetrators in question had already fled, and the investigation was already underway. The only witness described one of the men. The 2 were later detained, questioned, and charged with disorderly conduct. The firearm was, after all, an airsoft pistol. Like, why?
Some people are stupid.
Why?
Complete and totally stupid.
It's like, I wonder if that clown thing that happened, in recent years wasn't, prompted by Twisted Black.
Maybe.
Or Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal Black.
Yeah.
No, because I don't remember there being anything but an ice cream machine.
Yeah.
Or an ice cream truck.
It was just random people dressed as clowns being
just
stupid.
Standing
Just
at
being
the edge of
stupid.
the woods and stuff.
Oh, no, and then they would get on people's porches and the people had cameras.
Oh, and that's so creepy. And they're just like,
Yeah, but this
Oh,
is my
God.
thing. If you have a camera on
that's
your front
something
porch...
Becky would do.
If you,
Hell yeah.
if you have a camera on your front porch, you more than likely have a weapon in your house. So let's think about that. Because you get blown the fuck away...
What was the game with the clown in the truck?
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
This last crime sounded like more like Twisted Metal than Grand Theft Auto, but I don't know anything about this.
Stole a parked truck.
So he basically, what he did is he stole a parked truck while the passenger inside cried out for help. The passenger was forcibly held in the vehicle. After taking the vehicle, he struck 9 other cars driving off each time. And he faced charges of auto theft and 9 counts of hit and run. He didn't face a crime of kidnapping? That seems a little strange, but...
No, that sounds like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that sounds like Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto.
Actually, it sounds more like Saints Row or...
Same difference.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, Saints Row has never actually had as many scandals as... Because it's all very tongue-in-cheek.
It's still the same difference. If you can get in somebody's car,
No, I know,
if
but
you can get in a car and drive it off, that's pretty much what she's saying.
no, I know, but I'm saying that Grand Theft Auto is the more realistic crime simulator. But Saints Row, I go to a neighborhood it's controlled by machine gun toting luchadors. Like that's not a thing unless you're in Mexico.
You just proved Moreland's point about it being Grand Theft Auto.
No, I'm saying like
It literally he got in the car, drove off, and hit a bunch of cars. That's still Grand Theft. It is literally Grand Theft Auto.
no, I get that. I'm saying,
but it is also
when you put the two side by side, they are super similar.
Or
but
yeah.
Burnout 3 Takedown.
sure.
yeah, that's
Angie coming out with the side of a random game and popping back
Well,
out.
that's the point of Burnout 3 is to hit other cards that boost your
Yeah.
speed and your power of your car.
But,
more
spoiler
cars you
alert.
hit.
That doesn't work in real life.
but why?
Are you sure?
My question always
Positive.
goes back to what Aiden
There's only one
does.
way to find out.
I've found it out.
Walk around in a fucking
Wait,
bathrobe all day.
But why? But why?
But why?
Oh, simple because they're stupid.
Well,
You
that's...
flat out in a story. They're
I
stupid.
mean, yeah. I feel like this whole episode has been like, here's the problem with mental illness. I'm going to also end it on the fact that you're stupid for pretending you're in Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, this isn't mental illness. This is just retarded.
This is just pure stupidity right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds like just teenage stupidity.
Hey, you know what? I'm a big player of Skyrim. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a double-sided battle axe, dress in furs, kill an elf, which is just kind of a Twinkie kid, and then shoot a dragon. Let's go. Like, that's what I'm going to do.
Don't forget, shout really loud so you can blow somebody off a
yeah.
bridge.
I'm literally picturing this, and I'm picturing the call I get from jail. Hey, Becky,
Meanwhile,
funny story.
Scoob like runs out of steam like halfway to. Oh, I'm too tired for this.
He
Actually,
takes 4 steps and is done.
yeah, it's like he tries to lift the battle axe. He's like, you know what? I'm done for the day.
Moreland is just Leisure Suit Larry, just a lot greasier.
Oh god, Becky and I were talking about Leisure Suit Larry the other
None of the
day.
Yeah.
underage girls though.
Huh?
None of the underage girls though.
Is there underage girls in?
That's why they.
I haven't played enough Leisure Suit Larry.
That's why they had to pull the game.
It's
There
not
was an
allowed on
underage-
Twitch either because of that.
Yeah, there was.
Well, that makes sense.
There was an underage girl in it, so she said
So-
she was 18 when she signed up, but she wasn't. They found out she was 17.
So I just...
Are you thinking the guy game, or are you? I'm thinking Leisure
That-
Suit Larry, where you actually go hit on chicks, and there's a mini game, much like the fucking thing
Okay.
Jake wouldn't shut the fuck up
I was
about.
thinking of Super
Yeah, I
Seducer.
love Leisure Suit Larry. It is still banned on Twitch. Leisure Suit Larry. He just goes on a cruise and he tries to
well,
seduce
in a
other
cruise,
women.
or
Yeah. So it
goes
starts
to
off
his-
you're putting on your leisure suit and you're trying to get laid. That's the point of the whole game.
but you're literally like the same height as like my
But
belly
there's
button.
a lot of nudity. That's why it's not allowed on Twitch. There's
So
an
is
extreme amount
so
of
is that
nudity.
game House Party, if you've seen that game,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah.
on Twitch.
There's a lot of games. General Jousting is not allowed on Twitch.
That's a fantastic family-friendly game.
Well,
Right?
okay, here's my thing. Why? General Jousting, okay, it's penises. But they don't look like real penises.
And
If
you
my
can
penis looks
put-
like that, I'm going to a doctor.
Because Twitch wants it to be PG-13, and you can't show penises in a PG-13 setting.
But I can
And
get
also
people to give me money for
spurt
tits.
Jizz as
Yeah, you
get
spurt jizz.
points.
You're trying to shove it up their asshole.
Oh, no, I've played the game
You
with
pee,
Angie.
I mean, you pee and everything. It's like
Well, I would.
you sleep on a pizza-shaped bed sometimes.
That's true. I just want to end this episode on a note because the only reason why I really
On a note.
What note?
that not that note.
That's the outro.
Part of the reason why I wanted to cover this is we were talking about impact, and these are the pop culture impacted these people, which in turn impacted what happened in real life.
No one talks about impact. Fuck Dixie Carter.
Right?
But
Sorry.
my point being is
Triggered.
that recently in the news, that Trump was meeting with the heads of video game companies because he believed that violent video games was leading to the upward amount of gun shootings we've had in the United States.
You mean school shootings?
Gun
Just
violence.
gun violence
in
in
Gun
general.
violence
Okay.
in general.
You said
Yeah.
gun shootings. It
Gun
sounded
shootings,
weird.
My
Yeah.
bad. I meant gun violence. Moreland threw me off with his stupid
Heaven
headphones.
forbid if it's just pistol whippings, we'd be okay.
But to be fair, here's the thing: is that there has been no actual corroboration that actually is what
Unless you
happens.
find someone that's paid to do a survey where it says there.
Yeah,
and
but
there's not.
and I mean, here's the thing: is like we all play video games, and barring the instances we've read today, like the majority of people know the difference between building in Fortnite and then building tearing somebody's
I
house
was playing
down to
Fallout.
build.
I was playing
Right.
Fallout 4 earlier today. You can get pipe rifles, which literally looks like pieces of wood drilled through and made into guns with springs. Mm-hmm. Could I replicate that? Probably. Am I gonna?
Do
No.
you know not to?
I mean, I can replicate it. I'm just why?
Yeah, exactly.
Cosplay.
Other than that,
In an actual functional form?
well, talking about
Well, it wouldn't need to be functional for cosplay.
well, you didn't go, you didn't play like Call of Duty and decide that you need to go shoot some people up because that's how
I did
Call
not-
of Duty taught
In
you.
I
fact,
did not
here's-
need to go kill Nazi zombies. No.
Here's
Yeah.
the fucked
Though I
up
would.
part. Like, and I believe it's more than just me. I believe it. When I have a shoot day work and I want to kill something, I'll play Fallout 4, get it out of my system.
Right.
So it's the inverse of what they're trying to say.
I'll go play Dead Rising and beat the crap out of zombies.
With a fucking duel
played-
ended.
I play fucking League of Legends. You know what I can't do? Hold somebody down like a Lux Q and then like ultimate them. That doesn't
Right.
actually really happen
Right.
in
I
real
was gonna
life.
say not still Dan's pentakills.
It's
Poor
true.
Dan.
Angie,
Poor Dan.
didn't you get a pentakill lately? You did get a pentakill in League
Yeah.
last week.
I stole
Yeah.
Becky, so it's okay.
Yeah, he did. It's really hard to get that pentakill with that character. Anyways,
I did. It's not.
with Victor, it is.
Not that bad. Not that hard.
No, it really is. He's
Not
one-
an ARAM.
No, it still is. He has his abilities are very shop specific. Never mind. I'm done. Anyway, so that's my episode. Thanks, guys.
Dun 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 dun.
Hey, Becky. Where can they find us?
She
Don't
tried to
do
get
it.
away with it.
Don't do it.
I hadn't planned to do anything.
Don't say Spotify.
No, I wasn't gonna say Spotify.
Don't say anything else. Let me
We
do it
be
in the
geeks.
order.
I'm not gonna say anything.
You can find us on Facebook at the Free Rotation
What about
Podcast.
Spotify?
I knew you fucking
No, wait. Do you know how to get around that? I've thought about a way to get around
Just
this.
say you
I
can
didn't
find us on
say it. I asked
Spotify.
a question.
No.
What about
When
You
you're
see what
gonna,
I'm saying? I didn't
you-
say it. I asked a question.
you know, when you're gonna say Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Point at Angie. So she goes, "What about Spotify?" And then
Threw me a freaking bone.
You can
people.
find us on Twitter at The Free Rotation.
You
We
kill
are
me, Smalls.
also on Instagram at The Free Rotation Podcast. We are on YouTube at The Free Rotation. We are also on Twitch at The Free Rotation. We are affiliates of The Free Rotation Podcast.
we be geeks.
No. We are affiliates on Twitch.
I was about to say, how can we be affiliates with the podcast? We do.
I was trying to mix
We're
up.
our own affiliates?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
We affiliate ourselves. So if you so
I
just so
affiliate
you know,
myself every night.
oh god. If you follow us on Twitch and you have an Amazon Prime account, feel free to check and see if your Twitch account has a free Amazon or a free Twitch Prime subscription. You get one once a month to any channel. Please feel free to subscribe to us. We would be very
And then you
appreciative
can
of
post
it.
my face.
That is right. You can post Scoob, Star Guardian all over the internet. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Wherever you want to listen to us, you can find us there on your favorite podcast app. Please like, subscribe, leave a review. That would be great. Moreland, what are we an affiliate of?
We be
We
geeks.
be geeks.
And you can find us there. Also, I wrote an article or kind of an article. It's more of a blog post about our last episode regarding the Satanic Panic. So if you want to check that out, that's on our website at
TheFreeRotation.com.
Yay! You guys did it!
Yay! We did
It was either org, com, or
EDU.
All right.
edu. Yeah, .gov. TheFreeRotation.gov. It's just a picture of Trump going, they're huge. Like, I'm trying to get out of there.
Okay,
Nope.
movie.
What wrestler got injured? Why you throwing up the X sign? Anyway,
I wasn't trying to get out.
Name-
I'm trying to get
X
in.
gone.
name.
I've always been trying to get in, so.
Yeah.